Hi, I'm Sydney Blount, and welcome back to another episode of Lakeside in Focus. Let's take a look at what's happening here at Lakeside this week. On this episode of Lakeside in Focus, a unique Lakeside tradition.
It was a Monday. It was October 23rd, 2017.
A special bond between a teacher and a student.
He stayed after class, which was very uncommon. He asked me.
Every year, our choir students put together a special performance to transform this cafeteria into a medieval realm. Let's check it out.
Lady McClanahan!
In this place are here the news we pray for, and the angels in the sky sing, Christ is born today. Noel, Noel, sing.
For 22 years, Lakeside has hosted a unique holiday tradition, the feast.
The atmosphere is really unique and interesting. It's the best part about it, in my opinion. It's a medieval theme, so it's a little strange at first, but the more you get into it, the more enjoyable it is.
It's nice because it's all candlelit. It's like eye-opening almost. It feels like you're actually there. It doesn't feel like you're just in the Lakeside cafeteria. It actually takes you back to olden times.
Angels from on high say, shepherds come and see.
He is born in Bethlehem, a blessed lamb for thee. Sing Noel.
It's a really enjoyable experience because the songs are unlike any other ones we get to sing.
Be merry, I pray you at every chord.
I think one of the best things about the feast is the toasting section. It's become a tradition where students toast their parents and their friends.
Your heart is so big. You're such a good guy. It's going to be really tough to say goodbye.
She warbles her throat, and now I blow her a smooth.
But also parents write toasts to their children, and it's sometimes it's funny, and sometimes it's really heartfelt, but I think it's a chance for parents and students to really share their true feelings in an open forum where they get to experience it.
Which is extremely sentimental, lots of crying.
Especially to my parents and my grandparents, because I personally feel like I don't thank them enough, and so it's really cool to be able to thank them in that way where it's not like some uniform thing. It's like I wrote it and it's from me.
I got a toast from my grandmother this year and almost had some tears, but I was not that person. So it's always fun just being able to, oddly in a public setting, be vulnerable and open about your feelings toward other people. That's special in my opinion.
We have the chamber singers do the main part of the feast. They are the courtiers, or the people that sit at the head table, and they do the main part of the work throughout the year. But then we also have the concert choir who performs, but they also serve as the peasants or the servers during the feast. So they have two jobs, and they really do a lot of hard work during the feast. Also my assistant, Mr. Teddy Wynn, does a lot of work working with students on music. He's the director of the concert choir.
I think I wouldn't say we have the easiest, but concert choir definitely has a tough job.
I liked actually being the peasant and being able to see behind the scenes and being able to interact with everyone who's there.
Zoe, I want you to memorize the names on his table as well.
A candle, sorry. I would hold my sleeve like this and light to keep it out of the drinks and the food.
During the feast, around Friday, we all get out on sixth period, concert choir and chamber singers all help out. We set up the tables from front to back. We put all the tablecloths on, place settings. It's a lot of work that goes into it.
In a high school, sometimes if we do things for 2 years, students think it's a tradition because that's most of the time they're here. But this is one of the longest running traditions. I think only the kindergarten circus may have been around longer than we have. And it's a long-running tradition, and it's just part of what we do at Lakeside.
It was my last feast. It was very sad. I've done it for 3 years now, and it's sad to say goodbye.
It was a very fun experience, something that I will always remember, have very fond memories of. And I remember we were singing the last song, and I may have shed a tear or two.
Merry Christmas to all, and a joyous, peaceful New
Wow, we have such an amazing choir program. Teachers and students have always had a special bond, but this one is a bit different. Let's take a look at our next story that can warm any Grinch's heart.
So those things that have the one, look at here, they're gonna go in the first paragraph.
As being teachers, I feel like kids trust us. It's crazy how you don't know how someone views you. It is just such a holy work that we do here every day, and spending time with these kids and that trust level that kids have with us, it's not to be taken for granted.
Teachers are more than just educators. Often they are encouragers, role models, cheerleaders, and counselors. Jordan Hiblong exemplifies that, but for one of her students, they saw more in her.
Gio was in my third period class. It was a Monday. It was October 23rd, 2017, and he stayed after class, which was very uncommon. He asked me if I was adopted, because I talked about adoption because I come from a big family. I'm the oldest of 9, and so I said, no, I'm not adopted, but my family is. And he then said, well, you want to adopt, right? And I said, yes, because Paul and I had spoken about that's how we wanted to grow our family. That was the goal.
I asked her, and she did not answer right away, but she wanted to get to know me first.
I said, well, yeah, sure. And then he said, well, would you ever consider adopting an older kid? And that was when it hit me what was happening and what the dialogue was.
I saw how she loved the kids and loved to help them move on in life and help them be the best they can be in her class and outside of her class. And so I thought that I want her to be my mom, and I want to have her as my family.
But when he said that, my heart fell out of my chest. And I looked up at him, and before I could even say anything, he started listing all of his best attributes. And I sat there in disbelief and just thought this was the bravest thing that I'd ever seen, because I didn't have to do that to have the parents that I had. And so I told him that we would definitely look into that. And we started calling the very next day. Then we started the process, and we found out that we could apply for what's called fictive kin, which is where you know the kid for 6 months.
Gio's life was changed forever after moving in on February 21st.
I have a family now. I feel more connected. I feel more like a normal person. I've been able to participate in things at school more and actually be able to do them and stuff at home.
The relationship between Gio and his parents has grown drastically, bringing them closer together as a whole family.
My parents are fun. They're loving.
Hey G, we are in your bedroom working on stuff. There's Dad. Let's see, what is this? Super Bowl night. We are not watching the Super Bowl because we're getting your room ready.
That's true love.
Dad says that's true love.
They like to surprise me a lot, like I said, so some of the times it's a surprise, and it's a really good one too. And we like to go to places and experience fun things as a family.
Adoption gave Gio a new perspective on life, but he's not the only one who has gained a new outlook.
It changes a lot about the way that you think about your life and the world
Yes.
in general, and then also what hope looks like.
Love is a choice. It's something you have to do every single day. And, it was just as hard for him as it was, for us, as far as mean, a major life change.
Discount that bravery that that he had to ask and to follow through to choose us right back, because he had to choose us right back. I mean, it wasn't just us saying, you're going to be our son. It's him saying, y'all are going to be my parents. The love that goes both ways. He's choosing us to be his parents, and we're choosing him to be our son, and there's just a great deal of love there.
I needed him just as much as he needed me.
Woo! I got adopted! He's been waiting to do that.
Wow, what an incredible story. It just gives another example of how our teachers go above and beyond for their students. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Lakeside in Focus, and we'll see you next time.